Hi there everybody and welcome back to my beginner's gameplay for Timberborn. I'm Icon and today we will recover from the desperate drought from the last episode. We're really low on food right now. I want to change that today, and if possible, I don't know if we're going to get there today. I want to get this scrap iron deposit. So thanks again for all those wonderful and helpful comments in the between this and the last episode. So, stuff that I learned lately. My beavers can actually swim through the water. I wouldn't need those bridges. Another thing that I learned, buildings share electricity with each other. So, if I would have just built those workshops next to each other, they would have spread the power between them between each other. But this way, step by step, learning a thing or two. Enjoy that. Thanks everybody for helping me out on those. Another thing that I didn't know, we can also just delete buildings with this little tool here. So also thanks for sharing that one. Anywho, let's get going, shall we? We have, in the last episode, had a really horrible shortage of food at the end of the last drought cycle. And considering that the next drought cycle will be only longer, I want to amp up the food production yet again once more. So my idea was to bring up some food production over here or over here. But since this is my lodging area, I'm not that keen on doing that. But what I had in mind there, speaking about lodging, was I wanted to check out if we can't bring up some housing over here. But for the first time, I'm going to work a little bit differently now for the housing because I want to work with the stacking of the buildings a little bit more. So I'm going to give them a little bit more spacing in between each other. Right. Food-wise, we're still in a pretty nasty pinch here. As I see here, the situation is not really good, but the carrots here will be ready soon. And I'd say we're just going to expand our growing area to this here too. We're just going to plant down a couple of extra potatoes here. And here. And there. Because this is all still in the vicinity of this farmhouse. And I just hope that these extra food stocks will ultimately help us, but give me a sec, that was actually not realistic. I mean, over here, we're getting the job done quite well, too. But overall, well, we still got workers open. Well, I was just wondering if I shouldn't bring up another farmhouse over here. Yeah, let's do this. Because I got the slight feeling as if the people here were a little bit over... Ah, no, never mind. It's a bit of a tough one for me. Because this whole area here will only be useful during the wet season, and during the dry season it will be completely useless. So, we're also now officially out of food. It's quite scary, but luckily there's carrots here for everybody. It's also a reason why I decided to give this extra farmhouse a go. Because I got really bad, a really bad feeling about the next drought season, honestly. Because right now they are harvesting up here for sure, but it is not really... Can't get all the required materials. So, well, I know that we are a little bit out of wood. Okay. So this situation ain't good at all. The worst part here is that it's clearly visible that the people working up here are not getting the job done in time. They are absolutely overstrained with their work there. And not cool. Just not cool. Because we'll need a big stockpile for the next drought season, and I somehow have the feeling as if we hardly can sustain ourselves. So that means I'm going to uncheck these buildings here, because I don't want to have more population right now, honestly. I don't feel as if that would be a good idea at all. Because more people, or more beavers, need more food. I know, that was a absolutely surprising combination here of things. So this cycle will be a cycle of survival, and I think I've broken my own law of growing slowly. So we're going to pause the lumber production and stuff, because I really don't want to get rid of all my logs right now. This farmhouse up here would be very, very important. This is killing me. My beavers. The time is mercilessly passing forward, and we hardly get anything new sowed on the fields, and that's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. It's also the reason why I want to shut down propagation right now. Right, there we go. It seems as if we could also need another farmhouse over here. Because it obviously is not... There's obviously not enough workforce on these. So yeah, let's put it down here. I like that, actually. This is very, very frightening to me. I wonder if we're going to die due to this circumstance here. Or not. We're going to see. There's still a couple of days until the next dry season hits us, but at the same time, we're hardly getting any stockpiles up right now. That's mostly just being eaten as we pluck it. I'm really concerned right now. So the first beavers died of old age, but first one, a couple of beavers died of old age again. Well, in a very cynical way, this ain't really the worst for us to happen. Okay. So I don't dare to do anything now before the situation is somewhat stabilized. I mean, I did amp up my production here in any thinkable way, but at the same time, I really feel like as if we can only do so and so much, you know? I mean, I can bring out a couple of extra crops here in between, but this does feel a lot like a desperate measure. Could go for something like that, though. So this tower here and everything up here is actually very, very important for the well-being of my people here. Okay. So I might have too many farmhands now, but I think that you only have too many until there's something to harvest. I'd really love if you could assign them. Oh yeah, haha, you can assign them prioritized action harvesting. And okay. Now that would have been good. Prioritizing that. Okay. Yeah, so okay, this if I only had known this before, would have saved me a lot of trouble. I somehow have a hard time believing that we will survive the next dry spell. I somehow think that we will face starvation this time. Maybe I'm wrong though, who knows? Alright, here goes. Yeah, they're now resowing it immediately. Nice. Okay. I've been wondering if I could have used this as a reservoir for in a way, but I would need to make this deeper to make it work somehow. Oh well. We're somehow starving. So my population is definitely at the point where we got problems due to the amount of population we got. So there might be even a point where I have to strip down from what I got here. Who knows? Alright. Not looking good. Not looking good. I mean, except for the food, everything else is looking really good, though. Our water stockpiles are insane. And, yeah, it's all fine. But we are eating way more food than we can supply for the people here. This is a big, big issue. So how can we change that? I mean, I could start stacking up my living area and remove other areas there. So for example, I could remove a couple of lodges and stack some other lodges on top of each other. But that won't save me now. So I'm pretty sure we're now pretty deado. So, well, I think what mainly went wrong here was me not respecting the hunger of the beaver society that's coming up there. So what could we do now? I mean, I got way more haulers than I need. Maybe this was just a little bit of a too heavy expansion. We could have used this area here for more food production instead of not using it at all. Just checking out what I could have done differently. All right, there's a big harvest of carrots coming in here, and there's also more carrots coming in there. The potatoes there won't be doing much for us. There's another gatherer busy here. I hope. Well, I don't see how my beavers are going to survive the next dry spell. So we would need to put more of those people into gathering jobs or food production jobs in general. What went wrong was mainly a too low production of food. Well, I somehow think that we ain't got no chance of surviving here. but I'll try it nevertheless. So the berry fields are actually yielding another nice sizable amount of food. There's yet another carrot harvest in. Gonna focus on harvesting now. We only got so and so much time, and as soon as the dry spell kicks in, there's gonna be nothing to be harvested anymore unless we irrigate it. I hope that the amount of water we got available now will be enough, at least, to keep the irrigation there running. That would be very, very good. So it's the last day of us being able to harvest things there. Oh, this is not going good. This won't go good. Alright, although I gotta say, well, we got some stockpiles of food after all. It's actually less horrible than I anticipated it. But seriously, in the next cycle, we have to change something about that. So what I am noticing, though, is that the extra gatherers are fitting in quite nicely. Alright, Rip Water. It's been a fun time with you, Water. Thanks for hanging around so long, Water. Now we're donezo. Well, let's see how long it'll stay. Way too long, I'm pretty sure. So there's another thing that crossed my mind, and that was the fact that I probably should have went faster into dam building and such things. You know, right now there would be a lot I could do if my water supply would be a little bit more reliable, you know. Well, let's see. I mean, I do notice that we still get the harvest in there, so we still get some extra time before these will dry out and die, too. It's pretty nice. I had no clue. Alright, maybe I averted the crisis there. Who knows? I am quite positive in a way. I mean, if everything works out this time, then we'll know how much more production I'll need for the extra district. But one thing I'm very, very sure about now, and that's the fact that I want to have an extra food production center somewhere there. So probably we might want to build that during this dry spell now. Alright. So we could bring up a lumberjack over here. Oops. Allow him to cut all the trees here because nobody really cares about them trees there. And once that's done, we're going to bring up a fresh farmhouse or two. Well, let's make 2 out of that. And then we're going to survive that, I hope. So, let's see. Oh man, I'm so nervous about the water supplies this time. But we did amp up the stockpiles by a decent amount, and there were no more people needing water now, so probably this will help us out. And last but not least, do I want a forest there or not? Rather not, honestly. So let's see. At 3.5 days, we're going to be at half time of that drought. if I am at 600 water at that point, we've used exactly 50% of the water we got in our stockpiles. That would be not too much of a good thing, but seeing now how much water I got, I think we actually got more water than we need for once. Let's see. I'm still a little bit skeptical. But that's not a shame. Alright, and with those extra farmhouses up here, we will be able to sustain a nice amount of food. So, speaking about food, let's check this out. A grist mill transforms wheat into flour. It needs electricity too. Then this goes into the bakery, and there we transform that into bread. And beehives can be used to boost the growth of the nearby crops. Okay. Alright, so judging from what I'm seeing here, I think we should have little to no problems in surviving this dry spell this time. Okay. Whew. So the fact that we were capable of harvesting way after the drought was saving me at that point. And I think that this little plantation here is totally worth the effort. Like, being able to produce some food even while we are under drought feels pretty powerful to me. Don't know if I'm wrong about that, but it does feel really useful. Alright, I'm going to reactivate the lumber mill and all. I know it ain't that important right now, but it will grow important again. Alright, but I'm honestly not interested in wheat crops right now. I feel like as if that would be a thing for a later stage of the game. For now, we're going to focus into carrots, potatoes. Alright, we can get that into a larger scale. And do we want to put up a large warehouse at the end of the road there or not? That's another question I'm asking myself. Don't want to be too close to the water line here, because, you know, water is useful after all. Yeah, let's do this. I like the idea of that. Okay, I mean, we would... It all goes down way better than I anticipated. Awesome. Now, mark resources for demolition. Die, tree. You're in our way. Wonderful. Just want to make sure that everything has its room to grow into. And now we're going to bring up these extra houses. There we go. I feel as if we now have mustered enough of everything to make sure that we will survive the next dry spell. And since these investments I did during this whole episode were all aimed to a higher food production and a higher capability of store food, I think it's going to be totally okay to amp up our food production a little bit more, our population a little bit more. Okay. Let's see how this will work out. But I'm quite positive. It's the last day of the drought, and everything seems to be quite in order. Why is this path not completed? It's so useful. It wasn't useful back then, I guess that's why. Alright, so we're going to demolish more of them trees, and I think I brought out potatoes on this side. There we go. More food for the beaver empire. Okay, we left this last dry season with something between 100 and 200 water. This is certainly really not enough, so we're going to bring up another large water tank here, so just so that I can feel safer about all this. Because I really feel not too good about the amount of leftover water we had here. So we're going to assign this as a top-notch priority, and I hope that during the next year this will be done. We got the necessary gears. We don't have the necessary planks yet, but one thing at a time. Now the water will come back. And yeah, we survived yet another time. I really didn't think we would, honestly. I had a very, very bad feeling about this, but, well, luckily I've been wrong. I love it to be wrong under these circumstances. The building lacks workers. Yeah, we're pretty much out of workers right now, I know. That's why I want more lodges, because there's so many things we need to do, but if I paid attention correctly there, this was the first time that the drought season didn't go longer compared to the last time. And we also had a really nice amount of food in our stockpiles there, so that's good. It's making me a lot less nervous. There's one thing, though, that I'd love to see, and that would be more grills. Although I'm not sure if I really need that. I think no. That one grill should be capable of processing all the potatoes we produce so far. Here we go. So yeah, we don't have enough people right now to get the jobs done. But that's okay. We will breed more beavers. No problem. No problem at all. So for now, I'll be sticking with only 10 more people. I think it should be enough. Probably not. Hard to tell. Well, probably I want to have an extra here. Let's do this. There's a lot of extra plans lately, so we really have to be careful about that. I still want to have the metal production going. Still want to. We're still very, very far away from getting there, so here we go. Potato fields. Alright, seems like the drought area is spreading into that direction harder than I thought, which is kind of a shame, but I can't change it right now. Alright, so we got more and more living room here. Still waiting for the stairs to be done, though. So we ain't got... we got one lumber workshop staffed out. Alright. Yeah, I know. Taking a while to get that done here, but I felt like another large water tank will make sure that my population will get what they need. But I can't stop myself. I'll just put up the small ones right next to that. Because there's nothing worse than running out of water during a dry spell. So increasing the capacities a wee bit whenever I increase my population seems to be a solid choice to me. Alright. But this is looking really good so far. The center over here is getting us for sure ahead, and I'll be just farming out those trees somewhere later down the road. And I'm really diving deep into the potato planting now. So we're also going to focus one of these farmers into planting this time, so this mistake doesn't happen again. And let's demolish them trees here. Because we don't want no trees here. We want plants here. Okay. Yeah, planks are an issue. But at least the most important thing right now is that large water tank is done. That's good. What I wanted to be sure about. So, beyond that, well, I think we're in a stable position now. I was a wee bit afraid about what might happen now. The only thing that's still bugging me a bit is that lack of workers. We do have such a shortage of workers. There's three farm hands not being not working right now. Even an inventor is missing. I mean, that's not too important, but you get the idea. Anywho, dear friends, I'd say a good spot to end today's episode. I feel like we made awesome progress one more time. I mean, this is growing into a really large township at this point. Next episode, I might be actually capable of getting in that scrap metal. I'm not sure yet. I want to make sure that my food stocks are overflowing before I go into the next district, because there's one thing I realized in this game. Once you start to have a cycle of death in your settlement, it's hard to stop that from happening, because you have only so and so limited tools of assigning people to certain jobs. So if connected building, so if a large wave of dying beavers would happen right now, I would have to manually put a lot of these houses onto pause to make sure that the workforce would work on the water pumps and the farmhouses. This is something I hope that this game will give us better tools in the future, because right now I'm not too happy with those tools. Anywho, thanks for watching, everybody. It's been my pleasure. Drop your comments down below, leave a thumbs up to make it more visible, and last but not least, check out the channel. Daily videos coming up there. I'd be delighted if you decide to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to not miss any future content. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.